You just need to love yourself. I know, we hear it all the time. Everyone says it to everybody, and it's true. You should love yourself, but no one actually tells you what self-love is. We think it's all bubble baths and affirmations and feeling good all the time and treating ourselves comfortably. And, it's good to do that stuff, but that's not always what self-love is. Self-love can be really gritty in a lot of ways. It can be downright uncomfortable because it frequently requires a level of honesty with yourself that can feel brutal. If you're new here, my name is Charlotte, and I make videos for people who want to get out of their own damn way. We talk about tools and strategies that can help you live the life that you want to live. And if that sounds like something you're into, please consider subscribing and leave a comment. Let me know what you're working on. In this video, we're going to talk about the things no one tells you when it comes to self-love. Self-love requires discipline, not just comfort. Real self-love isn't about doing what's good for you in the moment. It's about doing what's good for you in the long run. It's skipping the Netflix binge in order to get a good night's sleep. It's having tough conversations that you've been avoiding. It's sticking to your boundaries even when it's inconvenient or difficult. Self-love is discipline disguised as care. Think about a parent to a toddler. Would you let your toddler spend 7 hours a day scrolling? No. Would you let your toddler go until 4 p.m. without eating anything except coffee? No. Would you let your toddler have dessert for dinner? No. Would you let your toddler say horrible things about themselves and not challenge it? No, you wouldn't, because you love your toddler and you need to start treating yourself that way. A parent knows that discipline is required in order to lovingly guide your child through life and make sure that they are doing what's good for them. The same goes for yourself. Saying no to instant gratification is sometimes the deepest form of self-respect. Self-love will make you uncomfortable. Choosing yourself often means stepping outside of your comfort zone. It's starting the workout routine even when it feels hard. It's quitting the job that is draining your soul even when you're afraid of the unknown or afraid of making a change. Self-love feels more like courage than comfort, and it's trusting yourself, knowing that you will work through the discomfort and make it out on the other side. People do not realize that growth and discomfort go hand in hand. You cannot grow if you're unwilling to be uncomfortable, and knowing that is self-love. This is a big one. You don't have to feel love to practice self-love. You're a human being. You're not going to wake up every day radiating self-confidence, and that's okay. Self-love is not how you feel about yourself in the moment. It's how you show up for yourself consistently. Even on hard days, when you don't feel all that great about yourself, you keep showing up. You put in the work, because action is more important than actually feeling it. Self-love is about treating yourself kindly even when your inner critic is at its loudest. You can love yourself through your actions even when your feelings haven't caught up yet. Self-love means embracing who you are right now and not who you think you should be. So I know a lot of people watching this channel want to be different in some way. They want to change how they approach life. They want to change how they feel about themselves. They want to change the productivity levels. I understand more than most what it feels like to want to change and to want to be a better version of yourself. And I think that's awesome. I think it's great that you see room for improvement, and I believe wholeheartedly that you can get there. But in order to get there, you need to have radical self-acceptance. You need to recognize where you are right now and then say, okay, what are the steps I can take, incremental or large, to get to where I want to be? The formula for changing is know where you are, know where you want to go, and take incremental steps to get there. Consistently take those steps. And while you're loving yourself, it's hard to think like, oh, I wish I wasn't like this. I wish I wasn't like that. We all have things about ourselves that we wish were different. That is completely normal. You can still think about those things and still want to improve as a person and love yourself at the same time. It's entirely possible. Self-love is rooted in radical acceptance, not perfectionism. Self-love is about seeing your current self as worthy and capable of growth and not something to be discarded or left behind. We're taking parts of ourselves with us as we grow, and we're adjusting the parts of ourselves that we want to adjust. This is not about becoming an entirely new person. Self-love is not always about treating yourself. It's about holding yourself accountable. So are you staying in a situation that's hurting you? Are you procrastinating on something that has the potential to change your life? Are you not keeping promises to yourself? Why? What's going on? Loving yourself is about holding yourself accountable, not making excuses. And what I think people miss is that accountability is not a punishment. It's not even a criticism. It's about doing what you know you need to do and doing right by yourself and by others in your life who you have made commitments to. It's a sign of respect when you hold someone else accountable. It means you have an expectation of them. So it is a sign of respect when you hold yourself accountable in a way that is constructive and not destructive. So saying like, oh, I should have gone to the gym. I'm such an idiot. Like, why do I always do this to myself? That is not constructive. Is it holding yourself accountable? You're trying to, but ultimately that's shame. That's not going to lead to where you need to go. It's finding a balance between acknowledging where you can do better and having the compassion to forgive yourself for not being there yet. So, oh, I didn't go to the gym today. Okay, how can I make sure I get there tomorrow? What can I do differently? That is constructive. I can make a commitment to write it down on my calendar. I'll block it off. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to ask myself, what workout am I going to do? And I'm going to commit to doing that workout, and that will imprint in my brain that we've decided we're going to do this. There's no question about whether it's going to happen. That is a more constructive way of going about accountability. Self-love means letting people walk away. Not everyone you lose is a loss. Self-love frequently requires letting go of relationships, of jobs, of habits that no longer align with your growth. Self-love is about choosing yourself, even when it's scary or lonely. Saying goodbye to the wrong people is how you make space for the right ones. Acknowledge the role that they played in your life, release them without resentment, and focus on the future, focus on the opportunities that you are creating for yourself. Self-love is a commitment, not a destination. Self-love is not just something you check off your list and you've achieved it. Like, you're not going to wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I love myself today. Oh my goodness. No, that's not how this works. It is a lifelong practice of showing up for yourself, of assessing where you are in this current moment, and understanding whether your needs have changed. And if you're on the wrong train, you're going to be like, oh, need to get off this train and head in a different direction. It is the lifelong practice of showing up for yourself, of assessing what your needs are in this moment, and pivoting if you aren't getting your needs met. Even if you feel like you're backsliding, even if you feel like you're not making the exact progress you want to be making, self-love is still just showing up and doing it anyway. What self-love looks like for you today, what you need right now, may not be what you need in the future. It requires constant reflection and flexibility, and you adapt as you go. Growth doesn't follow a straight path. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, there's going to be plateaus. Some days you're going to feel absolutely unstoppable and on top of the world, and other days you're going to be struggling. But that ebb and flow is part of the journey. I don't want you to think that progress is linear. It's not. But most of the time, even though it may not feel like this, most of the time, if you take one step back, you end up taking 2 steps forward. And if you keep doing that, it's going to be annoying and it's going to feel like whiplash, but you will make progress towards where you want to go. Self-love is not a solo journey. Sometimes you need help. It's not weak to admit that you need help. It's not weak to ask someone for support. That could be a coach, that could be a therapist, that could be someone in your life, a family member, a friend. Asking for help is a sign of self-preservation. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Self-love is nuanced, it's messy, it's deeply personal, and it's not always about treating yourself gently. Sometimes it's about telling yourself what you need to hear and doing what you don't want to do. It's about challenging yourself to step up. And the irony is, the harder and the grittier it gets and it feels, it's actually the most rewarding and transformational times in your life. When things get rough, that's when you're going through the most change, because that's when you're the most uncomfortable. So whenever I'm going through a rough patch, I remind myself, damn, this is going to level me up exponentially. And I remind myself what I'm learning. And when you stay grounded in that reality, things are a lot easier than if you're just like, why is this happening to me? It's not happening to you. It is happening for you. You have to remember that. Every single life experience teaches you something if you're willing to learn. I'm going to call it there. Thank you so much for getting to the end. If you like this video, you're going to love this custom playlist I made you of my favorite videos about self-love and respect. I think you'll find something in there that you like. Thank you so much for sticking around, and please leave a comment and let me know that you exist. I love hearing from you guys.